Welcome back to Caffeine Confessionals. We're here again for another MTV Challenge podcast, episode 3. This time we are breaking down the season 36 Double Agents female cast. I am Allan and Nikki. I am one of your hosts. This is my lovely co-host, Miss Nikki Sins.
Hello, I'm the Nikki Sin.
So how was your Canadian Thanksgiving, dealing with all these people just posting on Twitter and Instagram all these photos of food, who they're thankful for, and then just being at home like it's a normal Thursday?
I was so hungry. I just see people posting like beautiful mac and cheese, turkeys, stuffing, everything. I wanted it all. But, here in Canada, we had Thanksgiving last month. So
Is your Thanksgiving the same type of food as us, or is it something completely, or is it just like it's just like a day off?
oh no, we do like a turkey, stuffing, gravy, fucking vegetables.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't know. I'm super white, so
I
that's
hate
it.
turkey. I hate turkey. I'll be honest.
You what?
I hate turkey.
You
We
hate
don't. We didn't even have turkey this year. We had a honey glazed ham,
okay. Ham?
pineapple. Ooh.
Ham? I'm allergic to pineapple, so
Oh wow. I love pineapple so much. Like it's one of my favorite like toppings ever and just like fruits.
it'll make me like I'll look like the
Quite literally die.
no, I'll look like the Michelin Man, like just fucking
Ooh.
all puffy and shit.
Yeah, don't eat pineapple. I'm
Yeah.
sorry that I'm like, yeah, I love pineapple. I love it on my pizza. I love it on my sandwiches. I love it in this way. And you're just like, I literally can't eat it. So this isn't helpful in any way. It's not.
Well, as people are like, "Oh, you don't like pineapple on pizza?" I'm like, it's not that I don't like it; it's that it doesn't like me.
Yeah, that's a huge problem.
Yeah, we just don't get along.
Yeah. So I wanted to say thank you to all our listeners because we got, twice as many listens to episode 2 that we did to episode 1 on Spotify/Apple. About the same on YouTube, but one of the things about that is that our listens to episode 2 got more people to listen to episode 1, which was awesome. So thank you to everyone who's listening. And I think this podcast is going to be our best one because we get to talk about the female cast, which is infinitely way more interesting than the male cast.
Oh yeah, for sure. Sorry, I'm like trying to get the clap in there. Tiny hands clap
Ooh, Tiny Hands Clap. Classic.
or Dumbledore.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I don't know. I put
Okay.
Harry Potter on to go to sleep. That's all.
We are done clapping now, and we are going to be breaking down this female cast.
Let's do it.
I rank them in order from who I'm least excited to see excited. Try and do possible. Hopefully, get you guys out of here fast. If you're watching the YouTube version of this, in the bottom right-hand corner, there will be a photo of the person we are talking about. So that way, you could just skip to the person you want to hear about. If you hate Nicole Z for some reason, and you only want to listen about Nani or a Natalie or a Cam, just look at the bottom right-hand corner, skip around, find your person.
Okay, let's do this. I'm ready.
At 15, oh, guess who doesn't want to see Nicole Z this season? It's me.
That's so weird because same. I find her to be obnoxious.
I
She's
agree.
obnoxious every season she's on. She's obnoxious. Uh, always thinks that every girl wants her. No, they don't. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that right now. But I would love to see her and Laurel do an exes.
I agree. Well, maybe not after the X on the Peak show where Nicole was pretty toxic towards her. As a
Oh,
whole, I want to say this before I get into dragging her. Nicole, one of the best swimmers on the show, physically very strong, very low body fat percentage. great cardio, can keep up with a lot of the guys on this show, and an underrated social game where she spends time in the gym and she, kind of becomes one of the guys. Also has all these hookups every season. So she is doing something right on that aspect. But the reason I'm not interested about Nicole is that she shows no self-awareness.
Absolutely. I'm not downplaying her abilities, her skills in any way, except for puzzles, because she's garbage at that. She just the way she still has that real world wolf pack mentality going on. So she has
Agreed.
that whole thing when she was on the Real World Skeletons, where she's like, "Oh, it's the wolf pack, pick up chicks, whatever, cool." And she lacks the self awareness that shouldn't still be a thing.
Yeah, at this point, especially because it's been about a half decade since her real world,
Yeah,
I'm really grated by her because in her preseason promo, she talked about wanting to align with the strongest girls in the house. My problem with that is that she's no longer the top athlete in the house, and that perceived value of strength, where she puts herself on a pedestal, it's immediately diminished if someone is stronger or faster than you because she can't solve a puzzle. I mean, she's gotten beaten by Ashley and Cara Maria because she can't solve a puzzle. And yeah, you're faster than them. Yeah, you could bench more than them. But if you things, then all you've accomplished in the gym mean nothing. Because not only are the girls who can solve puzzles passing you up, but you can't keep up with the fastest girls either.
yeah, and it's then then you can't talk all that shit. You can't be like, "I can beat you at this. I can beat you at this." It's like, okay, but here's a puzzle. This little Sudoku, which I'm not me personally. I can't do a fucking Sudoku puzzle to save my life.
That's what I liked about Hunter on War of the Worlds 1 when rewatching recently, is that he was like at least making fun of himself, like, oh, here we go again, puzzle I can't solve. And
Yeah, like be self-aware. Just be like, yeah,
there's the challenge. They're in a plane with they're doing the puzzle, and Hunter's singing a song like dun 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 dun. I don't got it. It's just like I'm like if Nicole did that, she'd be 1,000 times more likable.
yeah. I think it's like, does she care what people think about her? I'm not sure.
I am unsure as well. At 14, I have Casey.
Oh, Casey Clark. The what is she? The ottoman, the stool.
I called her a toaster. I called her because a lot of people online get really mad at Casey for, not being that interesting. And her stuff with Bailey was a little bit weird last season. Uh, my thing is that, like, you can getting angry at a toaster doesn't make sense because you're like, yeah, it's not a panini press, it's not a George Foreman grill, it can't do a lot of things, but at least it makes toast. And that's Casey. Like, she doesn't do a lot of things on the show, but she competes. She does well. I mean, she goes far in these games. She's a threat to make the final again, especially in this era of the Red Skull twist.
I just meant in the sense of like she's just like there.
Yeah, I mean, because she does compete at least. That's my thing. She does something.
Yeah,
It's
she's
not like there's other wallpaper that just doesn't compete. And, that's apologies to the Shailene lovers out there. That's a Shailene.
and Casey embraced her wallpaperness to create this competitor that people were afraid of,
Agreed. I'm just a
like
bit
Fessy.
annoyed because I have met Casey before. She lives in Vegas. She lives a very exciting life. She travels the world. She plays women's football. She, has had beautiful girlfriends, probably beautiful entanglements in the past, and goes on these cool reality TV shows where she gets to do like gets to skydive and do crazy stuff and win money. and yet, despite having one of the most exciting lives in the world, is exceedingly boring. As she had the least amount of confessionals per episode last season.
Maybe she's just really jaded.
She's so positive too. Like she's always happy. I don't get it. I don't get it, man.
I,
I wish she was single though. I mean, I hope her
oh,
relationship goes well. I hope that is awesome. But if she was single,
oh my
she'd be
God,
catnip in that house.
the house would turn up. The house would turn up. I would finally get to see Nani and Casey hook up. I want that. I want it.
I do. I want that a little bit
We
too.
stand it.
At 13, it's a person I would have had higher had she posted her breakup before I created this ranking. Miss Tori Deal.
Oh yeah. Physically, very good competitor, I think.
She gets a lot of hate, and it's not her fault. It's one of the weirdest things ever, where MTV saw Tori as this person like, wow, she could do narration. She's a good competitor. She, gets into hookups, and she's someone we could put on the billboard because she's just a face that is someone that you could just build around. She hits almost every genre in theory of like what a fan wants, or what the general consumer wants at least. And they call her the rookie of the year. They hype her up like crazy. So whenever she loses now, because she's a good competitor, but she's not the best, people just jump on her on Twitter
Yeah,
immediately.
she took out Jenny in Hall Brawl.
Yeah, she was the best player on War of the Worlds too, but people still make fun of her and they think she's overhyped and not a good competitor. And it's a weird case because she is a strong competitor. She's not elite, but she's not a layup either. She's not. I mean, she is overhyped by MTV, but she's not overhyped by the fans. And if any fans overhype her, it's more of a product of fighting back against those who hate her. Because I think a majority dislike her, if anything.
It's true. And but the thing about Tori is that she gets this weird like fan treatment. So like Nani gets slut shamed constantly. Like, oh, she's hooked up with like this many people from MTV. So is Tori. Let's not forget how her and Jordan got together. She
I
cheated on
defend.
Derek
I only
with
defend that
Jordan.
because I'm like, I think she knew Jordan longer than she knew Derek. Because her and Derek were dating for like 4 weeks before the show. The challenge airs for 8 weeks. Derek was gone after a week. I,
But
I know, I know it's not fair, but
but what I'm saying is that like
yeah.
she also dated Mike. He was on the Real World Bad Blood, and he was
Are
on
you the
Are You the
one?
One? Yeah, and she dated his roommate Morgan, who was her perfect match on Are You the One, and then they went on Are You the One Second Chances together.
I think that Tori should hook up with whoever she wants. Oh, so I gotta say this
Same.
as a person from California, I was shocked when they got engaged so quickly, Jordan and Tori, because yeah, they dated for like a year and a half, 2 years, but in California, that's not how relationships work. You give it a run for 5 to 8 years, and then you're like, okay, is this working out? Is this working out? The
Is that
only
how it works
times you
there?
get that's yeah, I mean like it's one of those things where have you seen the meme where it's the Broad City clip where it's like I'm 28 years old. You want to marry me? What am I, a child bride? That's how I
Oh
feel in California, where the only friends I know who are like engaged at this point are the people who like had kids in my age group. If you
no.
had a
Okay.
kid, then you got engaged or married. If you didn't have a kid, then like most people in my age group, like the 24 to 25 area, not engaged, not married.
Do you think they did that for a little clout? Maybe.
I think it might be the Oklahoman in Jordan. It's also just expensive. It's just irresponsible to get like married out here, like to buy a house, like because they wanted to buy a house. I'm like, I buy a house already in LA, in Los Angeles. That's a lot of money. That's like buying a house in LA, that's like a $2 million purchase.
That's financially irresponsible.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where I didn't get it. Uh, but they are now separated, and I feel for them because I do feel like they had legitimate love.
Yeah, I posted a tweet. I was like, oh, I don't care that they broke up. And somebody was like, oh, you're a hater. I'm like, no, I just mean like they didn't send me anything when I broke up with my boyfriend. Like,
I retweeted that. That was an all time. That was a great tweet. I'll be honest.
Tori wasn't like, hey, how you doing after your breakup? So sorry to hear about you guys.
How are you dealing with it?
Yeah, how am
You
I
want to come on?
Tori
Yeah.
dealing with it?
Yeah. She's also hosting the podcast this season with our number 12 person, Anissa.
See, I like Anissa. I like Anissa the more I like rewatch old seasons.
For a long time, I was just a long time Anissa hater. I was always
Same.
upset at the fact that she would not play a political game where she's like, "Oh, I don't care about getting voted in" type stuff. And then when she get voted in, she would always cry. It would always I didn't like that
Yeah,
type of behavior. It just always upset me. But on Total Madness, she was awesome. I hadn't seen Anissa in seasons, and she was pretty good in the challenges. She had really authentic quotes and reaction faces, and was just hilarious. So Anissa was a breath of fresh air last season, but I have her low this time around because even though I liked her a lot last season, I even voted for her for Personality of the Year for the Challenge Mania Awards. It's going to be diminishing returns this time around. She can't follow up that performance with a better performance.
what I like about her is that she heavily represents a bisexual woman in reality TV, which I think is still really important because a lot of the time, like they'll show like girls experimenting on reality TV, and they'll use that for more footage. But Anissa is like, no, I like men, I like women. Like in terms of Anissa hookups, like Robin.
Did you say Robin?
Wait, no, wait, Robin.
You mean
No,
Rachel? You mean Rachel?
Rachel. Yeah, sorry, Rachel. I'm mixing up the
Corey?
X season. Corey, who's a total babe.
Maybe Leroy on X's one.
Uh,
Corey on Dirty 30 again, probably in the Redemption House.
yeah.
Probably a lot of off-screen stuff for Anissa. She's
Oh, for
she's
sure.
she's really good at keeping stuff on the DL.
Yes. And she's absolutely done such a good job at making the challenge, her job.
Yeah.
Which like I'm tired of seeing all this shit on Twitter where people are like, "Oh, I can't believe people like treat the show like a job." It is. They get paid appearance fees, and
Yeah.
like,
You make
fuck,
more money in
fuck,
6
why
weeks of
not?
work than you would in a whole year.
Yeah,
So it's a real simple thing to me. I think with Anissa, she holds a really special spot in the show, like her role, in that in wrestling, there are certain people when a new person gets called up, like a new hot prospect gets called up, they get put in a feud with an older person who has some relevance to them. And you have this person, you know, be a strong figure, but also just lose in the end to that person. So that way it elevates the new star. Like, oh my gosh, look, this person just beat, this wrestler beat Kane, and Kane is like a legend type thing. And so with Anissa, she holds that role. Like, oh my God, Bailey just beat Anissa. Kayla beat Anissa. It's one of those things where once you get that win, you have some clout on your name. And I know for Anissa, she probably doesn't want to be in that role, but it's an
uh-huh.
important role. It's something that helps the show.
It's a role she didn't know she needed to play.
Yeah, and when she does actually get a win, it's proof that Anissa is still awesome.
Yeah, and great commentary. Gotta throw that out there. So funny.
At number 11, I have Liv Jawando Rookie from the UK series Shipwrecked.
Yeah, haven't really watched the show. Gonna be honest. Spoiler. She's pregnant. No.
I love when someone comes on this show pregnant because it just the rumor mill goes crazy. And my personal rumor mill, I'm spreading this fake rumor. Nelson is the baby daddy.
Yes.
Nelson, Liv, and Cheyenne for Teen Mom spinoff. Just the four of us.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, Corey has another baby now. That's not important.
Uh,
That's So yeah,
Taylor
that's
made her apologies. She will be on MTV again.
what I want to say about Liv is I did a lot of research about her. There was not a lot to research. I had to like watch these like clips that had like no views on them,
Ooh.
and she had a bad experience her first time on reality TV. Like she couldn't watch her episodes. She would always delete her social media accounts. Just couldn't handle it. And now she's doing the challenge. She was 19 then, now she's 21 years old. So if you want to feel old, she was born in 1999. That person on the challenge was born in 1999. She was 3 years old when Anissa was on her first season.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'll just silently pass away over here.
I mean, I'm just thinking right now, the girl who was like a freshman in my like senior class when I was a senior is now on the challenge. That's basically what's happened. You know, I go through characters' social media to find out their like athletic pedigree. If they have a modeling profile or they played a sport and have like old stats, I can
Yeah.
see that and project onto the show.
Smart.
Liv couldn't find a single workout post on her Instagram. And it's concerning because I don't know how to project her. I mean, the girl has a gorgeous body, but it's natural. It's very just a naturally perfect body that doesn't look like she works out much, but is just born that way, just freaking born gorgeous.
Well, for me, I find it strange that she isn't into like all that working out. I guess I just mainly associate like UK reality TV with like the Geordie Shore people, but they're very into fitness. Into like
Yeah, most of them are concerningly skinny on those Jersey Shore type shows where like Zahida, Georgia, they really know their camera angles because, they show off their body in those bikinis and the aesthetic places, the, you know, the boobs and the butt always look great. And then you see them come on this show and their t-shirts are like this big and they're very tiny girls, all of them.
well, they all
So
want to look like Kardashians. So
yeah, exactly.
like
And
Chloe Ferry, just so
yeah,
much
I mean,
happening.
I agree. And that's one of those things with the UK girls. Like they get in good shape for like a run, but if you put them in a hall brawl, they're a little bit too stickish. I mean, that's why Jenny is so awesome. I mean, but she commits her life to fitness in a different way than them.
Yeah.
Jenny
What
commits
was
herself to actual fitness. They commit themselves to social media fitness.
what was Jenny's show?
Battle of the Fittest UK or something like that. It was
Oh, they were just
yeah.
like, here's a hot fit chick. Let's
Yeah, I
let's
think it was just all fit people. It was like their version of the challenge, I think.
okay.
She won that show too.
Okay.
At number 9, no, my bad, number 10, millionaire Ashley Mitchell.
Yes, Ashley. Yes. Uh, we Ashley came from that like crop of rookies, not rookies, but like
The
crop of
Invasion Group.
yeah, the invasion crew were like they brought the drama I wanted. Like
I think that's such an all-time season.
they brought back like old school drama. Like that was like Sylvia and like Marie and all them. That was like Janae,
I think that's like the
Jasmine
best cast
level
ever.
going in. Oh,
because they brought back the old champs, like they brought back the legends, and they brought in a bunch of good new people, and they only kept it to 26 people. I don't like it when the cast gets too big. I like it when it's a smaller cast and you become invested in those who are there.
Yeah, I can't keep track. I'm like rewatching War of the Worlds 1. I'm like trying to
You're
figure
like,
out who's still
wait,
there.
Julia Nolan was on this season? What the hell? That was a thing that happened?
Yeah, I'm like,
Because
oh
there's just
right,
so many people. They
like
showed the
5 seconds.
reunion with like all the secret hookups. Like, yeah, we couldn't even get every hookup in. I love World of Worlds 1. It's like I think one of the best seasons ever. But if any season ever needed 90-minute episodes, it was that one. And then the last two seasons, I could have been like 30-minute episodes would have been fine for the previous two seasons.
Yeah, it would have been just okay.
You're like, oh, what? Polly and Kara are fighting with Kyle again on War of the Worlds 2? You're like, all right, that's cool. And
Right.
back to Ashley. Ashley, one of
Uh,
the all-time challenge figures. I mean, stole the
yeah,
$1 million, three-time finalist, been in a whole bunch of fights, a whole bunch of hookups too.
she's like
Like,
made for reality TV too.
yeah, and the reason I have her so low is because she's just been on too many seasons in a row, and I think she needs a break to get
Yeah,
refreshed, to make people want. I mean, people always want Ashley because they love Ashley, but I think the casual fandom maybe needs a break from her. And I think for her game as well, she's kind of trapped herself into this spot where everyone sees her as a threat, and because everyone sees her as a threat, she gets upset, gets into fights, creates enemies,
yeah, and then
and
she can't
is
align with anyone.
and then yeah, then she's limited. Her game without the Lavender Ladies has not been great. On War of the Worlds 2, she made the final, but she was in that giant pre-game alliance that West made, where you know that Ashley and Kara and Polly were not friends before the season started.
No, absolutely not. And I feel for her. I want her to do well.
Yeah, we talked about it in the interview podcast. She's one of the best people to interview. I mean, the girl really loves an entertaining TV show. I just think that in the current format, she's not built to succeed, especially with the Red Skulls. She's not a CT where everyone knows she's a favorite to win, but is too afraid to throw her in. It's the exact opposite. It's similar to West, where they're too big of threats, but people
Yeah.
are like, wait, I've seen you lose before in elimination, and so I'm going to throw you in.
And wouldn't she just be perfect for an X this season?
I
Her,
would love that. I mean,
I
I would
want
love
her.
her on a non-challenge show, like an X on the Beach.
Yeah, but who? Oh, yeah, she would kill it. I could just see like her teamed up with Jamie, uh, cousin Jamie, whatever his last name is, Cara's bloodline.
You do him, you could do Corey,
Yeah.
you could do Kyle,
Oh,
you could do Nelson, you could do Tony.
yeah. Like she has so much potential to do so. She would do so well on X on the Beach. She would love it.
Gosh, her and Tony, I think that would be actually a really strong pair.
Yeah, she would actually like push Tony to do something.
Man, wow, that'd be a great pair. Sorry, I'm a little stuck
Yeah.
on that.
I know we're like fantasy casting now.
Yeah, we're fantasy booking X's three right now. Apologies. And talking about someone who has some great X's partners, well, actually, maybe some not so great ones. Miss Nani Gonzalez at number
Queen,
9.
Queen Nani. Yes, we stand. All hail Nani Gonzalez. She's so great, like all round.
Yeah, there was someone who replied to my like Nani player recap video on YouTube. Like,
Yeah.
oh wow, this guy is really in love with Nani. And like my answer is like, yeah, dude, I once had a dream where Nani was my friend in real life. And then I woke up and I went to go text Nani on my phone. And then I realized I'm not actually friends with Nani.
Oh,
I can't text her about it.
oh,
She's just so genuine. There's something about Nani that's so human
yeah.
that I just love, man. Like, and I think she's just had so much bad luck on this show where like I wrote about it. There's just little things where if one thing goes differently, Nani makes it to another final. She maybe makes like wins the whole season. And are people really saying that the difference between Nani and Paula is that different? No, I don't think the margin is that big. I think if Nani's luck was a little bit better, she could be like a five, not a five, like a three-time finalist with one win, and people would talk about her in a completely different light.
I think she has this. I think there's like a real world Las Vegas like curse because like
Mm,
Dustin and Heather, right? Like Dustin like sliced his knee open that one season. Bad luck. Leroy always has bad luck.
yeah, I agree. I mean, I want to see Nani win because
I
it would be like a win
yeah.
for us because as fans we make a lot of like as humans we make so many mistakes in our lives, so many bad choices, and Nani is a reflection of that. You just watching Nani, you're like, no, not Hunter, no, not Asa. I mean, I don't know how people feel about Asa, but that was just a bad choice in my opinion. But yeah, I get disappointed in her so many times, yet I love her because of it.
I stand her, and she's there to play the game. I think she will be so good on Survivor. Oh,
I'm not 1000% sure about that, but I and I think in this cast I don't see Nani doing too well. I mean, from Alliance standpoint, she has some good friends. She has Leroy and Cam, which are just really powerful allies. She also has Casey, and there's some other people she just gets along with well, and
yeah.
I hope he goes far. At number 8, I have Gabby Allen.
Oh yeah. Another Brit.
Did you watch her on Love Island or Celebrity Big Brother UK?
I watched like clips of her. I've been on like a Geordie binge lately, so avoiding Love Island and stuff like that. Um, she's like fit though,
No, yeah, she's like a
like
mini Emily Scrum. She's like an
like
actual
like
personal
fit.
trainer.
Yeah.
Uh, my thing is I watched the first 15 episodes of that Love Island one weekend, and I didn't
Just the first
realize.
15.
Yeah, well, they got like it's like 50 episodes a season because it goes on like Big Brother. And I didn't realize that I had watched like 10 episodes of Gabby in my life until I was like, it was like a long time ago. I watched those episodes, and when I was writing my preview, I was like, oh, wait, I totally saw this girl. And that was the impression she made on me. I literally forgot I had seen her on reality TV. So why do I have her ranked so high? It's because she makes it to the end of every show she's been on. She's dated musicians. She is super fit.
Oh, like who?
And
Who'd she date?
so the guy on Love Island, his name was Marcel Somerville, and he was part of a UK group called the Blazing Squad.
Oh,
Never,
hey,
the
he's a
UK
pop
has their
star.
own music scene, and she
Yeah.
dated another musician after she broke up with that guy after a year. So both those shows end in fan votes,
Okay.
and Big Brother and Love Island, and Gabby was voted least popular out of all the finalists on both shows.
Why?
Doing a great job of hyping her up right now.
Oh,
But the girl is, I mean, like, similar to Jenny, she's devoted herself to fitness. That's her life. She, even does stuff for women's health on the UK side.
yeah.
Uh, she's interesting. She has a boyfriend, but I don't know if they're in like a committed type relationship. It's very weird.
We'll
Also,
see
her
about that.
boyfriend, like, if you just Google his name, the dude is like a porn star or like an amateur porn star. He's got like, dude has a massive like dong, bro. He just like I went to Google about their relationship, and just pictures of it were just all over Google
You're
Images.
like, oh no, oh god, oh no.
And it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, is she gonna be cheating on anyone in this house? Because I'm like, Jesus Christ, the guy, my mind was blown, bro.
Sounds like she'll be good at pole wrestle. Zing!
Yeah, it was just one of those things. Like, it just happened on a normal Google search, and I was just taken back. But if you see
Yeah,
the
you can't
preseason
undo that.
promos, there's some interest between her and Fessy, mutual attraction.
Oh, I like that. Him and Haley just broke up, so
That's the thing.
well, not just
Apparently,
like they did.
apparently, Fessy and Haley were hanging out before Fessy went to film this season.
Oh, oh, but I thought they broke up.
I mean, the public breakup to secretly get back together and actually work on your relationship privately without having to deal with questions about your relationship, really pro move in theory.
Yeah, I think I've done it. I'm not even in the public eye. Who's next?
At 8, I have, apologies for the delay, accidentally swiped out of my thing, had to scroll back up. My bad. At 7, I have Big T.
I love Big T. Fresh cotton pads.
She is an absolute delight, and I feel bad for
Oh,
her because the Red Skull twist, it's just not made for people like Big T.
nope. They they'll just carry her on, like right to the last minute. Now she's like a
Yeah,
layup, you know?
and it's just tough because no matter how good of a game she plays, she's never going to overcome the fact that she is quite literally petite.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, it's a hard brawl? Give me that girl. Give me Big T. And it sucks because she's such a likable character. One of the devastating things I found was that when I found that Casey had the least amount of confessionals last season, I found out that Big T had the second least, which
What?
doesn't make sense. Give us more Big T, MTV.
Yeah. We want big MTV. Big T.
I
Well,
do like that she like trains hard for this show now that she's been on. I just want to warn fans that like I've seen people be like, yeah, if she trains harder, she does this, she could be like the next Camilla, because Camilla was 5 foot tall, and it's like one of those things where like, yeah, and I'm like, I just want to tell people this now. Don't be racist like Camilla ever or crazy, because she's just an
yeah.
absolute toxic human being. But Camilla as a player, we're talking about someone who from the jump, like her rookie season, was one of the best runners, swimmers, one of maybe the best heights competitor in challenge history, could do puzzles. Like Camilla was a college soccer player who was an amazing athlete. And to say like, oh, if someone trains, they can be like Camilla. No, you're not born with that athleticism. You just
No.
like you don't train to become Camilla. You
No.
just either are as good as someone like Camilla or you're not. You could train your best to keep up with someone like that. And if you're bigger than her, maybe you have some strengths over her. But yeah,
Like
if you don't put that as like a measuring stick.
Big T could train to be, fit enough to like compete against a lot of the girls on the show, but you can't train yourself if you're not an athlete to become an athlete. I
Yeah.
feel like.
Strive to be a John A. That
Oh,
that's like that's an achievable mark. And like
I miss
people
her.
are like, John A never made a final. I'm like, yeah, but John A was good. She was never bad. Like John A was always solid.
Yeah, she always had her partner's backs.
I was actually messaging someone the other day, like, hey, if John A and Derek win this final elimination battle of the seasons, do they win the final? And they were like, no, but I think they come in second. And I was like, I agree. I think they actually would have done pretty well.
Yeah, and like what's interesting about those two is that like their season in the real world, they it was like seven strangers, but
Yeah.
they actually knew each other from outside of the house. They were like best friends outside of the house.
Yeah. That was I thought that was kind of dumb actually, looking back, like,
Yeah,
but was cool for them at least. At 6, I have someone who I think it's almost impossible to figure out how they're going to do this season. Amber Borzotra.
oh, Amber B. Big Brother, right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
she's from Big Brother. And my thing with her is that she didn't get to have a Big Brother experience her first time around.
because of Caleb.
Caleb Caleb was obsessed with her, ruined her game. She was on the block almost every time when she was on the show.
Yep.
without pre-jury, didn't get a lot of confessionals, and it sucks because he robbed her of her Big Brother experience. She just got dealt a bad hand.
Yeah.
6 years later, let's see if she gets, she makes the most of this second chance.
This felt like a weird casting choice, like a good one, but it felt like a weird casting choice because it came out of like left field for me at least. Um, I think she'll do well though. I feel like because she comes from Big Brother, she has a really good social game.
Yeah, I mean, those Big Brother players, at least from the jump, always look out for the Big Brother players.
Yeah,
I think her biggest strength is obviously her beauty. I mean, everyone is
she's
salivating over her.
gorgeous. Oh my god.
I when her cast photo started circulating on Twitter, I thought it was a modeling photo of her. I didn't know it was a cast photo because her cast photo is just on another level from everyone else's cast photo. The girl has like the eyes that'll like turn you into stone, man. It just like she's just
Beautiful.
oh my gosh, she's breathtaking, man. She's top point one like 0.0001% human being. She
I
has to
don't
use that
know.
to her advantage.
I don't know how she is like physically to compete. Might be good.
She's fit. I mean, she keeps
Is
herself in
she?
shape. She's actually like a legitimate model too. She's not a fake model like some of these reality TV people. She's booked for commercials, magazines, music videos,
Okay.
lives in LA, has actual connections, is friends with famous people. So
Love it.
Amber is a legit model, not these people who take videos in Motel Sixes and have their friends take videos.
Ooh,
Oof.
who's next?
At 5, Amber Martinez.
Okay, are you the one, right?
Yes, Are You the One? Season 8, Come One, Come All. The sexually fluid season of Are You the One?
Yeah, the horniest cast of people ever.
If they were going to cast from that season, I always thought it was going to be Amber. And that's because I'm not saying that the challenge casting is homophobic, just a little bit homophobic, a little bit. I think so. Because Amber is the type of person you look at that cast and it's people who represent sexual fluidity in so many different ways, so many different looks,
Yep,
aesthetics, different types of beauty. Amber is the most heteronormative looking one,
absolutely.
and to me that was the reason why because it's that thing like oh she could hook up with guys and girls, be a fun party element type stuff, and I think that's the reason they brought her in. And it's a good casting because when you think of the challenge back in the day, that threesome between Abram, Rachel, and Veronica is still a top 10 moment.
It's true. And I think that this is an interesting pick, like, in terms of this is the latest Are You the One casting that they've done.
Yeah, technically Asaf last season, but they went their way to mention every
Oh,
show he was on, except Are You the
except
One?
that. Yeah. I was like, um, we all know he was on there. Did
I
you?
think I think that's a production thing. I don't think the lighthearted production and Boone and Murray are on good terms. I think that's the main
Uh,
thing. Because most of the shows, like you're like, oh, how are they coming from Big Brother to this one? It's like, well, it's the same like kind of Viacom, CBS. Also, Are You the One doesn't have as many viewers these days. The last season was only getting like 200 to 300,000 viewers, despite being critically acclaimed. And you're like, well, I cast from Big Brother, which has 6 to 10 this Are You the One show, which is already our network, and there probably aren't a lot of Are You the One viewers that aren't watching the challenge already.
yeah. I feel like if they put Are You the One on Netflix, people will be all over it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I wish we'd had Are You the One in the UK so I could see a better show.
Oh, but they call
Eh,
it like Are You Us the One or something.
Are You the One honestly
Or
ruined?
us is the one.
Yeah, Are You the One honestly ruined Bachelor in Paradise for me? Because I watched Bachelor in Paradise and I was like, no, I'm gonna watch Are You the One instead because there's like
Oh,
way more hookups on here. And then I watched X on the Beach and I'm like, I can't watch Are You the One anymore because there's way better hookups and drama on here.
with Are You the One, it always had the most like chaotic setup. Like, there's 20 people in a house. Your perfect batch is in there. Uh, you don't know who it is.
I
Uh,
love. I just want to say, I would love when someone would be put in the truth booth in the first episode after creating that immediate connection, like, "Oh, we're in love," and then they're told you're not a match, and they just look at each other in such a way, we're like,
they're
"So what
like,
do we do
oh,
now? We got 9 more episodes." Like,
now we have to like now I just don't hang out with you.
they put
All right.
Tori in like I think the first 3 truth booths of Are You the One? Oh, remember that girl Kiki? And she was in like the first like 5 truth booths.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, let's make sure we get Kiki's knocked out.
Oh, poor thing.
I think Amber, okay, back to Amber. I think she'll
Yeah.
do good in the show. I think she adds a fun element. Similar to Michi on the guy's side, I think that's the role she's gonna play. She has to
Yeah.
be fun. She has to be likable.
The fresh meat.
I think she has a better long-term future on this show than people who actually make the final.
Yeah, because I think she'll have a bigger impact.
Similar to Big T, it's one of those things where like Amber's only 5 foot
Big
tall.
G.
She's only 5 foot
She's,
tall, and
she's 5 feet.
yeah, like 5 foot and a half. I had
Oh
to
my
dig
god,
through her Twitter to find that.
I'm taller than her by 2 inches.
So she's gonna get targeted as a Red Skull.
Oh, poor thing.
At 4, I have 2 time, well actually 3 time Olympian, Lolo Jones.
Oh, she scares me. But she's a bobsledding Olympian.
Well, no, so I've been watching the challenge since like late 2015, early 2016. I've been reading about Lolo Jones since 2007. She was a sprinter, like a hurdler. She was 100 meters.
Oh,
And there was a website called Bleacher Report, or it still exists, not as good as much these days, but they would always have all these articles, and because I'm sports obsessed, and I'd read about her, and every three out of every 10 articles, they would talk about her potentially winning the gold medal in hurdles because she was the favorite. She was
yeah.
fastest person. The other 7 out of 10 articles would mention her in these like lists or slideshows of being one of the hottest female athletes in the world.
That's like not super necessary, but
Hey,
agreed.
hey, 11-year-old Allan on the internet, super interested. 12-year-old Allan, also interested. 24-year-old Allan, interested on incognito browser. So, yeah, that's the thing where she's been in the light, like the limelight for a long time because of her beauty. I mean, she's also a great athlete. I mean, her face, dude, like that cheek structure, those eyes,
Yeah.
that hair, it's very unique, especially, the mixed race, the skin tone, everything about her
She
is
was
just
also on
gorgeous.
Champs versus Pros, huh?
Yeah, and that's what I was going to get into. She's been on reality TV for a bit since her Olympic career ended, or not ended, but,
She was
kind of.
in like Big Brother, uh, Celebrity Big Brother.
Yeah,
Uh,
she was on Dancing with the Stars for 1 episode, did terribly, got eliminated. So her Olympic story is very interesting where the '08 Olympics, she's favored to win, and she was in the lead by a pretty good margin in hurdles, and then her foot hit the last hurdle,
no.
and she came in 7th because of that. She was going to win. She's going to get the gold medal before her foot clipped that last.
Uh,
And 2012 Olympics, she comes in 4th place at the Olympics again, and it's like heartbreaking because she never medals, even though she's one of the best sprinters of that era. Because she wins like the gold medal at like the World Championships, the United States Championships type stuff like that, but never at the Olympics, which is where you want to get that because you know the Olympics are everything.
Yeah. She she's on there as like one of the most intimidating rookies.
And she's a virgin. I'm sorry, but that's also why she had a lot of fame because for all this time she's been known as the hot virgin as well. I forgot to mention that. Should have mentioned that at the beginning, but yeah, she. I mean, you saw that Instagram comment where she talked about like I've never been so horny as I was in the challenge house. Like she's like I wanted to like f the wall.
A virgin of what? She's never
She's never had. I mean,
she's never had sex.
never had. Yeah, like you know.
What?
Yeah, she's 38 years old.
Uh, what?
It's what she's famous for. She was the hot virgin Olympic sprinter who became an Olympic bobsledder, who's now on reality TV.
Oh shit. Okay.
And she's a bit wild and erratic and gets into fights with people. And
Yeah, because she's not getting laid. That's why she's so erratic.
I think on this show, from a physical standpoint, Olympian, best athlete out there. Can she handle the house element? Because she was mentally going through the ringer on Champs versus Pros, and that was only like a 2 week filming where they got their phones, they got to go to their hotel room after. Challenge House is way different, and I know she did Celeb Big Brother, but that's with celebrities, and you know for 28 days versus no contact with the outside world. People who will attack you for like they'll see your name like, oh, I'm gonna get into a fight with Lilo Jones, so that way I get more Twitter followers.
I expect to see her butt some heads with a lot of people.
It's gonna be tough for her because she's a great athlete, but I think
Because she's a
that's
great athlete, she's gorgeous, and she's a rookie. It's like a triple threat in the challenge house.
yeah, it's gonna be a rough experience for her. From just the, I just keep thinking about like what happens if like Ashley pops off on her. What happens if Wes blindsides her? What happens if Natalie, another strong female, and her get into it? What if Cam and her get into it? Just type stuff like that.
Yeah,
Is she gonna quit? Because she talked on Twitter, like on Instagram, making posts like it was a really tough mental time for her.
I can only imagine.
At 3, someone who I think is positioned really well. I think someone has the chance to take the face of the franchise crown right here. Someone who could win the season. Miss Cam Williams.
Yes, I love Cam. We stand Cam. Yes,
She is at the right place at the right time.
absolutely. She's in the peak of her life, really.
So she took a season off, making fans want her back for another one. There's no bananas. There's no Cara. No Jenny either from a physical aspect. Wes is declining. CT is declining. This could be her show. This could be her show right here, right now. And we could be looking at the Cam Williams era of the challenge.
Which is fantastic because she's so well rounded. She's a fantastic athlete. Her political game from the start, chef's kiss. Like she came
Yeah.
in guns blazing.
I wish her political game was a little bit safer in that she gets thrown into a lot of eliminations. She's been in a lot of eliminations to start her career. However, I do appreciate that she goes for big moves generally, and she plays to win. That's the big thing I like about Cam a lot. I wish there was some improvement for her in the daily challenges. She doesn't have a great history in those. I think her and Ashley Kane on paper should have been one of the best teams on War of the Worlds 1,
Oh yeah,
and we're just pretty underwhelming. And I didn't feel like it was Ashley's fault either. I felt it was more on her burden. But again, as a competitor, Nobody wants to see her in eliminations. She just has that natural build and strength to her. She's a boss, and
Yeah.
she's
She
ready to
carries that
fill.
confidence
Yeah, she's
to.
ready to fill that role of being the star of the show. It's just she has to perform. She has to win some daily challenges to get that role. And if she can, she could really run things.
Plus, she's got Leroy.
That's just a really good support system to have.
Yeah. And Leroy's one of my favorite cast members, like, of all time.
I agree. I think
He's.
similar to Nani, it's like I wish I was real life friends with Leroy.
Yeah, I think it's because in the time frame that I was watching their season, The Real World, I was like, this is. I was at a
Yeah.
I was at an
He
impressionable age.
he had human reactions to Adam Royer, where
Yes.
everyone else just let him like be crazy or like kind of afraid of him. And Leroy was like, no, we can't let this human being do this
Yeah.
to us as human beings. And that's why I love Leroy. I
And
just
his friendship with Mike, oh, everything about it. And his relationship with Cam is so, it seems the the natural progression of it, like watching it develop, is beautiful.
I generally hate the Bananas allies, but Leroy's just been so awesome for
Oh
years.
yeah,
And I think he and Cam, they could be the power couple this time around.
they should be.
At number two, a 9 season gap between her last appearance, Miss Teresa Gonzalez, or Miss
Oh,
Teresa Jones.
right, right. Married now.
She's had two
At,
kids
well,
and married an NFL player who I think he's going to be a Canadian football player soon.
oh,
But the Canadian season got canceled because of COVID.
the
And
CFL, yeah.
yeah, and it gave Teresa time to go on the challenge because her husband was not working this season. And I'll say this: I am a huge Teresa fan since like the moment she appeared on the show, like when I started watching. I did
She's a
not
fierce
realize until
competitor.
like maybe like a year ago. I was like, oh wait, is Teresa a villain? Because I was just like, I support all Latino players as as Mexican. I always inherently support them from the jump. And she was a good competitor. I thought the way that she and West just like were killing X's two in one of the greatest seasons ever was just so
Loved
awesome.
it.
And then I was like, huh, she did say a lot of rude stuff to Nani and Laurel.
Yeah, I don't think she's like a girl's girl. And I think that's because in it the same thing happened with Nani in the time frame in their life that they went onto reality TV is like such an impressionable age for you socially. Like in your early 20s, it can like really shape how you are, which is why a lot of the Brits act the way they do
Yeah, agreed.
because they get on so early. Um, so I think Teresa just like felt the need to be this like hot mean girl. But I think that if she teamed up, like my dream scenario, I'm sure I've said this like 1,000 times on Twitter at least, is like Teresa teaming up with Cam and Nani. Like,
That'd be
girl
optimal.
gang.
I
That would be
think
the holy
Teresa, yeah,
trinity that I
yeah.
want.
I think Teresa, the last time we saw her was one of the best competitors ever.
Yeah.
And you look at her career record, like, oh, she's 2-6 in eliminations, only made it to one final, only went to that final as a replacement partner of Leroy's. But if you just watch X's 2, the girl was maybe had the best cardio on the cast. Was as good, if not better, a swimmer than Sarah Rice, who is the best female swimmer in challenge history.
She almost beat CT in a basketball game.
Yeah, she was supposed to play college basketball at Marquette, but was too into partying. Respect there. Then you add in the fact that she has an almost photographic memory, where in that mini final, she memorized that color pattern really
So good.
fast. The same one that like Zach was cursing out John A. and Adam and Brittany
What a
were
shock. Zach is yelling at a
where
female.
Brittany was massaging Adam's calf during it. They killed that challenge because of Teresa, man. She could run up and down a hill. Like, in theory, Teresa is one of the best final competitors ever. She lost the X's2 final because Leroy was bad at swimming and bad with water.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where, like, if we get that Teresa, or like 90% of that Teresa on this season, she's a threat to win. She's just an awesome all-around player.
And I'm anxious to see how her and Nani will interact, because this is her season coming back. The last season she's coming back since they had that
It
big
would
spat.
be it would be idiotic for Teresa to have any beef with her because she enters this house almost like a rookie. And if you're
Yeah.
gonna start beef with one of your only familiar faces who is beloved and has all these connections in the house, that would just be devastating during a game. She'll get targeted from the jump.
And who is
She needs to create connections with rookies, if anything, because it's like what I mentioned. I think Tori's in a similar position where other vets already have their number one and their number two.
yeah.
When that happens, you got to go to those rookies and create those deals. Teresa and like a Gabby, maybe they create an alliance like that.
Yeah, I think that Teresa really needs to take on like a Wes role in terms of like he did in War of the Worlds 1, where he was just like bringing the
Yeah,
rookies in,
yeah. I mean you
as he
view the
always does.
rookies as like they're like penny stocks almost. You align with all the rookies, and if one ends up good, then you immediately profit like crazy.
Yeah.
Man, it's so crazy. I never thought Teresa would be back after the second kid. I thought she could come back after the first kid, but not after the second.
I'm so glad she's back. I'm like buzzing to see her on the show.
She's like 35, 36.
She doesn't look it. Tell you
Yeah,
that.
that's the thing. I'm like, she looks 29, 31. Like, she looks
Yeah.
great. She looks fantastic. Uh,
The odds are good for her.
and
But
number
who?
one, I have one of the greatest Survivor players of all time, Miss Natalie Anderson.
Yes, yes, Natalie. We stand. Natalie Sanderson. Love her. CrossFit trainer, like
Yes.
competition beast. This time she doesn't have to starve herself.
She won her first Survivor on a strategy basis, and then second Survivor made it to the end on a physical basis. So best of both worlds right there.
Absolutely, yeah. She would have taken uh her last season of Survivor, Winners at War. That's what it was, Winners at War.
Yeah, winners of war.
She would have taken that from Tony if she wasn't eliminated the, like the first episode.
Yeah, I mean, Tony played. I don't think.
Tony
I
deserved
think.
that win. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, I'm
I
sorry.
like ACAB always.
No, I
Tony is a
love
cop, but
Natalie. I love Natalie. Her edge of performance was ridiculous because
yeah.
she was outrunning marathon people while having only a scoop of rice to eat a day for 36 days. When it comes to the game of Survivor, I don't think she deserved a jury vote compared to Tony because I think Tony played maybe the greatest game in Survivor history.
Oh,
Uh,
like
it was
he
it,
made
it was
several
ridiculous.
spy shacks, a spy
Yeah,
nest.
yeah. Let's move back to our girl Natalie. As
Sorry,
much as I
Natalie.
love Tony, Natalie, I think she has all the tools to win this season, but I think there's a huge issue in that she's a strong woman, like a very
Yeah.
strong woman, and people will see that as threatening, especially because she's a little bit stubborn and she's gonna try and get her way, and she's strategic on the challenge. That'll just make you a target, especially because she's not trying to hook up with people. She's here to compete. And that might rub people the wrong way.
Yeah.
And in Survivor, there's so many ways to play the game. You could get idols, you could, get advantages, you could flip votes, you could blindside people, you could play the middle. Just there's so many different ways to play Survivor. On the challenge, there's like three ways you could play, if we're being honest. Like West likes to play the politics and everything, like, oh, da 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 da. No, the challenge is a very simple game, at least in this Red Skull format, at least, because there isn't many options you have, especially as a rookie. You need to have like many seasons of experience to try and run it from the jump, or you need to be Frank Sweeney and be on a season with all rookies and be the guy who, from day one or before the season even starts, pregame to have your big alliance going in.
Yeah, I worry that she's gonna come into the house with way too much confidence.
Yeah, you can't strategically play in a game where you don't have numbers or
You can't
power.
be like, yeah, I run this house. Like, you don't.
And
You
that's
just
rough for a
don't.
girl like Natalie because she's so skilled. She's so athletic. There's so many positives to her. If she goes to a final, I think she'll win. But it's about getting there. And I'm not fully sure if she has that type of game. Especially because you hear stuff about her Edge of Extinction experience where near the end, her and some of the people on that edge slash jury just weren't having, a good time.
Yeah, I think that people will be like apprehensive to come up to her and sort of try to build an alliance with her. But so she'll need to go to them, which I don't
Yeah,
think is her strong suit. Like going to people for like help, you know.
you almost need to be more of a Casey to succeed on this show. And Natalie is quite literally the opposite. And it's why I'm so excited for her. I have her number one and Casey number 14. I think Casey is like a lock for the final, but it all comes down to like if you're willing to adapt to the challenges certain playstyles. And I hope she talked to Jay before the season because Jay had to live through that where
Yeah,
he enters this game and like even though everyone loves Jay, he's a great social player. It's just there aren't many options on the challenge. I mean, Fessy is someone who I think is just a lock for the final in this format because people are like, yeah, he's 6'5". I'm not gonna try and get my Red Skull against him. I'm not trying to make that guy angry. And that's the type of game you have to live with on the challenge where people they play scared, but they play scared for a reason because there are multiple seasons to come back to. It's why
yeah,
people were so harsh about Natalie Negrati on Vendettas, where Natalie was making game moves on the idea that this was the only season that she'll be on.
yeah. She also got stuck with Polly as a partner, and he was like one of those fucking toy mouths that doesn't
Yeah.
stop. Yeah,
But it's just one of those things where like the next season she assumes that like her and Cam and Kaylee are all right when they're obviously not all right, and then gets
no,
mad when they vote her in. And you have to have that long term thinking on the challenge, and that sucks because it leads to a more boring game, but it's something you have to deal with.
yeah, and if you're gonna make the challenge a career, like you're gonna continue to do seasons, you got to do off season like socializing.
Agreed.
It's
I don't think Natalie did that because I think she just thought like I'm awesome
no,
at Survivor
yeah,
and I'm gonna be awesome here again because everyone telling me I am, and she's gonna kill the physical aspect of this game, but the social political it's gonna be problematic at times.
it's sort of like the kid in high school that was like always like the top athlete. And you're like, do you want to hang out after school? And they're like, I can't, I have to train. Like,
Yeah.
okay, it's a team building thing though.
So we are now done.
Sick.
I hope you all enjoyed this podcast. We enjoyed it.
I always enjoy talking about the female players more than the male players.
If you haven't subscribed to our feeds, we are available on Spotify, Apple, Buzzsprout. What's crazy is that people were listening on Apple before it was even showing up on my feed, so that was awesome.
Great, love it. Thank you guys.
And of course, subscribe here on YouTube, comment, do whatever. Hope you guys have a good day.
You can find me on Twitter at the Nikki Sin. You can find me on Instagram at the Nikki Sin. Where can we find you?
find me on Twitter at the Allan Nigiri, on Instagram at the Allan Nigiri, and on Facebook at Allan Nigiri.
Love it.
All right. Thank you, everyone.